etc. Okay, so who has a quick question before I go? Anyone?
Is it okay? I got a question. This is Alex Elkanani speaking.
Yeah, I can see.
Oh, all right. So my question is, I'm having a hard time knowing which programs to download and if there's a correct way to do it in
Right.
that kind of aspect.
So what you want to do is, how many people here are having a problem with our studio? Okay. What you want to do is just go one, gave a thumbs up. I don't know what that means though. All right. So all you have to do is go, okay, let me get into the thing. So I'm here in your quantitative methods area here. I sent out a thing a while back in announcements that I thought would be pretty good. What are you using, Alex? Apple? What?
So I'm using Mac Apples.
Right. So if you go into the
Mac Apple.
right. So all you have to do here, I'll even send it in here. All right. So it's actually not that tough. All you got to do is go, let me go over here, and hit paste. Boom. That's R for Macs. So you want to get in there and try to choose. I think the 421 package is fine. And then you basically, I'm making sure I'm doing the same thing. Then you need to go to our studio, and that's in the modules. It's actually pretty easy. You go to our studio and then do that. So what is this? R is the statistical environment. And then you go to our studio, right? And you basically, it'll know whether it's Apple or a not Apple. And then it'll go, basically, you go to our studio and do our studio. So you basically want to get those on your computer in order to do these quizzes, because these quizzes now will require that. It's not difficult. It's free. A lot of, like, the person who was actually going to teach this class before I took it over wanted you to buy a very expensive book. I don't think that that's necessary for you to spend your money, because now there's a more open source method and you're going to learn even more with newer material, because books might be a little dated and our studio are always developing. So any other questions? Why don't you introduce yourself, since there's only a few people here? We'll start with Daisy. Daisy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, what do you do? What's your thing? What are you going to do with your life? No, but it's a serious question. What do you study?
I'm studying social and behavioral sciences.
Mm-hmm.
My hobbies are, I like to play soccer.
Oh, nice.
I'm a sophomore.
Cool. Do you want to go on for a master's or law school?
I was thinking of law school.
Right.
Actually.
And when we get into our studio, a lot of people who study law think, oh, this isn't necessary. It actually is, because let's say you have a case and you're trying to basically make the argument that there's discrimination in salary and by gender, say women are making less money than men. Well, anyone could just say, well, this person's making less money than men, right? Maybe she's not, a hard worker. I don't know why. But if you can find a large data set that shows that company, there's a significant relationship between salary and gender, women making less, then you can have a strong case. There's a lot of room for, I'm not saying you have to do data science, but at least when you can read the literature and stuff like that, it actually is very useful to law. A lot of people don't think it is, but it is. And when I taught the empirical inquiry, I don't know what you people take on West Campus, but I did a lot of interpretive methods and stuff like that. And that's also kind of important for law as well. Sophia, did you want to say anything?
Oh, yeah. I'm Sophia. I'm a sophomore. I'm studying social justice and human rights.
Cool. And what's your end goal? You don't have to have one yet. I know you're young people.
Mine are all kind of a stretch. They're all dreams. Like, my dream job would be probably working for the UN on their Human Rights Council.
Wow.
But I also would love to have maybe my own nonprofit one day. So they're all kind of like really big goals, but we'll see where life takes me.
Good. The United Nations, and I consider it a thing, has a lot of good internships and things like that. I worked for them, but more contract work when I lived in Nicaragua. This is Colombia behind me, their protests. So there's actually a lot of opportunities, which I'm going to do a little thing on so you people understand. Katie, did you want to say anything?
Oh, I had one more thing really quickly
Oh,
too.
go
I think
ahead, Sophie.
I think the student who asked the question might have left a meeting, but maybe you can relay this to him. I know I had emailed you and put in the little question thing that I was having a really hard time downloading it, and I have a Mac. And when you sent this stuff over to me, that helped. But I also I think I YouTubed or just typed in on Google, and it came up with a video or screenshots of how to do it step by step, and that's what really helped me. So maybe you can relay that information to him, and if he can't figure it out still, I can either exchange emails and send it to him, or I don't know, figure something out.
Oh, you're too nice. I know he ditched the meeting. I'm like, what's going on here? Yeah, thanks so much for saying that, Sophia. I really deeply appreciate it.
You're
Katie,
welcome.
Katie, did you want to say anything?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. My name is Katie. I'm a freshman and I'm studying political science. I'm still unsure what I want to do exactly with it, but I do love politics and that realm of things.
That's there's a lot to do from everything State Department. They actually have the Arizona legislature. I don't know if you people see, because you're on West Campus. It's very far away from us in Tempe. I'm kidding you. But the thing is that they just had you're too young to, not young, but in the program to do it. It's the Arizona legislature program. It's actually really good. You get paid $5,000 and you essentially have a real job. It's like an internship, but it's a real job. You make a lot of cool connections and things like that. I don't know if they've been exposing you to that because it's really good program, but being a freshman, I think you need 35 credit hours or something like that, unless you went to a community school. But there's a lot of good opportunity to get involved in politics as work, which is kind of cool. Jordan, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I'm a junior. I'm majoring in political science, and I'm looking to go to law school after my undergrad.
Awesome. So you people here just taking this class because it's forced upon you. That's good. Jennifer? Jennifer?
Hi.
How you doing?
Okay. I'm Jennifer. I'm a junior. I'm studying political science and I want to go to law school.
Awesome. More lawyers. I give a professional development course over on the Tempe campus. I should send you some stuff. So if so many people might be interested in law, I do a lot of stuff because that's what a lot of political scientists want to do is study law. So I give a lot of advice on, I've written a ton of those recommendations, and so I'm not a lawyer, but because I'm kind of forced to get involved with lawyers, I have the lawyers at ASU, people who studied law and now go on, come to my class. We just had one. She was very interesting. And in fact, if you are interested, there'll be something on my YouTube channel soon where I have Mackenzie, her name's Mackenzie Phillips, I think, and she got into Harvard Law School, and she talks about the interview process because there's actually an interview to get into the big law schools now, if anyone's interested. Sage?
Yeah, I'm Sage, and I'm a junior. I'm also studying political science, and I too want to go to law school.
Oh my God. All right. I'll send you over some stuff. I'll definitely you want to know a lot of the information. The reason why I'm teaching the professional development class in it's a 394 class on the Tempe campus. So many people want to go to law school. So I've really tailored it towards law. It's got so much information on law that I myself have learned quite a bit. Unfortunately, that's not this class. This is a different class. But the goal here, and then I will relate it. I mean, this is a small sample of the population of this class. It's only now 2, 4, 6 students. So I'm going to kind of get you going on R and just do a few things, and then you can kind of ask questions since this is going to be on the exam. So I'm going to basically share R, get away from my Colombian background. Where are we? All right. And here we are. Look at that. Very exciting. You can all see R, right? Anyone?
Yes.
Hello? All right. That's what I need to know. What will be on the exam and how will we do this? Well, you won't be loading data sets. You know how I've been doing all the data sets and you've been trying to figure out what's significant, what's the relationship, etc. You need in doing this, you won't have to, this is a ton of data sets over to my, looking at it to my right-hand side. So that's the ice cream that I've been doing. We're going to do sea ice and stuff like that. So what we're going to do though for the exam is going to be a little different. I'm basically, oh, all you people want to go to law school. So we're very excited to do something related to law school. So check this out. I just copied and pasted, and this will actually be in the exam. Look at this. Income of student's family, right? When you are making a vector, this is true research, although these are just made up numbers because there's only, what, 6 of them, right? 6 data points. Okay, so what you basically do is you're going to make what we call a vector. And this is kind of interesting because let's say, for example, you have a court case, right? Or you're making any kind of argument and you're saying the LSAT. Do you people know, since many of you want to go to law school, what the LSAT is? In there in the group? LSAT? Sage, Jordan, LSAT?
Yeah, the law school admission test.
Right. There's a lot of research saying that income is related to LSAT scores. So you're basically asking yourself, wow, you know, our people who are richer have an upper hand. And that's why we're marginalizing certain groups. So you can make this the name of anything. Look at, oops, my mistake. Look at this mic I bought in Goodwill. Absolutely amazing. All right. Family income. All right. Now, to make this what we call a vector, you can either use an equal sign, but I prefer this because the equal sign. Look at the arrow and the line, and then C, because you're going to combine it. Now, you've seen this before. So this is family income. So we've got just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 families, right? So check that out. All right. You just made a vector. Very easy. So then you come over, boom, family. Oh, it is there. Look at that. Family income. You check if you got it. Boom, family income. 6 points. Then what's going to be in the quiz is something else. So since we have so many lawyers here, we're very lucky to be doing LSAT scores. So look at this, LSAT score. So you can name it anything you want. So you go LSAT, right? And then boom. C, and then 120, 190. But what's the highest you can get? Does anyone know for the LSAT? Nobody?
200.
I thought it was 180, someone told me, but you can check that out. But anyways, we'll just keep it like that. If you get like a 180, I mean, you're like a psychopath. So, but that's very high. You can go any way you want. I thought it was, but check with that, Sage, if you are correct. So anyways, these are the LSAT scores. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you're basically studying law, right? And you want to see if there's discrimination based on income. Now, there might not be a direct discrimination, like we don't want poor people. A law school probably wants poor people. But the question is, what 180? 180. I am right. Well, according to Sage, we'll have to check. That's what I thought too, Sage. But you people know more than me. So basically, if you get a 180, that's a 190. So we'll just leave it like that. A 180. These people are psychotic. 124, 120. Good scores here. 130, etc. Those are the LSAT scores. You can call this anything you want, but look at this, and then you just made it. Boom, and then you've got it. So what you're looking at right there, you say to yourself, you're making an argument. The LSAT score is a biased exam because it favors rich people. Why would it maybe favor rich people? What do rich people have over poorer people? What do you think?
The means of being better prepared.
Better prepared. How? What can you get if you're rich?
Tutors, better education.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. And also you don't have to work. Maybe your parents say, oh, don't worry, you don't have to work. I wish I had those parents. But the thing is that, yeah, 100%. So you look at it and you're like, oh, wow, you know, let's see if there's a relationship. So if you remember, the correlation, right, is just 2 things. But in this case, what would be the independent and dependent variable? Who wants to take a guess? You don't have to be right. You can be wrong. This isn't the quiz. You're not going to go to hell if you get it wrong. Well, maybe you will. I don't know. But for other reasons.
Would
What do
would it be test scores versus as a dependent variable and an independent variable would be money?
Right. Because you're basically, this question isn't, does a high LSAT score get you later, a better income, which could be a question. This question is, does your family income at the moment predict higher LSAT scores? So that's what you basically want to ask. Ooh, who's in the rating room? Yay. All right. So that's what you want to ask. You're basically saying, hey, is this test biased? Maybe not on purpose, right? That's not the intention, but is there? So all you do is a simple correlation, and then you can make an argument. Now think about this. What I just made, family income and LSAT score. Let's say you're working for a law firm. You can literally use R and start doing all this kinds of stuff. Right? I'm going to show you how to do it with nominal variables. That's gender. But you can literally say, and we got a cool data set. Who's into human rights and justice and things like that? We have a cool data set we're going to do later on in the semester where it's on, we got sea ice. We've got, we're going to do the Titanic. Did women or men more likely to die on the Titanic? Horrors of war. That's mine.
Professor?
Yeah.
How do I delete a set of values?
All right. You just came in. Who are you? Tell us. What do you do? What do you study?
This is Alex, and
Oh, you just came back in. All right.
Yeah, for some reason my internet kind of went like didn't work.
What do you study, Alex?
Ironically, law.
All right. See, everyone is law. Okay, I'm going to send you out. Everything is going to be related to law. But we see Ducky. What's Ducky, if that's your real name? Who are you? No Ducky. All right. So anyways, there's another.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, hi. Sorry.
That's
I was
fine.
having a little trouble. Hi, my name. That's just my name on my iPhone. It's my nickname, but my name's Jose Quinones.
Okay. What's up, Jose? So what do you
Hi,
do?
thank you.
What do you study?
I'm majoring in political science.
And what's your goal? Don't say law.
It is to go to law
Oh
school.
my goodness. You people are all going to be poor. You have so much competition. You know how many students I have over at Tempe campus and they all do law. So you people have to get on my, just the board of professional development. I'm not telling you to take it because it's way over there. But I changed it and it focuses so much on law. I have all these people from law schools coming in now. We just had a couple and stuff like that. So, really good videos. I'll send some out tonight to you people. On some information, how to get good recommendations from for law school, especially I learned a lot because that's not my area, but because so many students wanted to go to law, I kind of tailored the class towards a lot of law. United Nations too, a few. This kind of reflects the social sciences. But there's one good woman, she's amazing, and she says, and this is the best thing about law school, if you can't find a good reason to go to law school, don't go. Meaning you have to have a passion. And it can't just be, well, I did an internship one day, and now I want to go to law school, because everyone has that. Not saying internships aren't important, but have a story to why you want to go to law school. Oh, my parents were divorced. I had to go to court. And now I'm very interested in family law. Oh, I'm a DACA student. My parents didn't have documents here, and I'm really interested in immigration law. I'm interested in gender. Then people want to go to corporate law and other things. But try to have a good story on why you want to go to law school is her first piece of advice. And that's what I'll give now. But getting back to family income and SAT, now let's say you are going to law school and you got to fight a case that these law programs discriminate against poor people because they're using too much the LSAT. All you have to do, you can literally find the rail data. This is kind of made up by me, family income, and then LSAT, and just plug it in like I just did. So you're basically family income. I named it. You can name it anything you want. The arrow and the little line plus the C for combining these together. Although it's a more difficult word. And then look at this. Remember, this is 33,000. One of the things people have a problem with is they'll say 33 and then a comma, 000. Don't put a comma where you would normally put a comma. You have to differentiate each number by its own comma. And I got a question. I think I missed the first part. Is everyone in class going to law school? Nabil, yes, many people are going to law school. Don't tell us you're going. All right. Are you going, Nabil? Nabil, how do you pronounce your name?
Nabil.
Nabil. All right. Are you going to law school?
No, I'm going into international diplomacy.
Awesome. There you go. I worked for the United Nations for a little while and I lived outside the country, and we have someone else interested in that. And I do a thing, but less on the State Department, Fulbright, Pickering scholarships, the Gilman scholarship. There's a lot of good opportunities out there. If you want to look for it from the US angle. So
Thank you.
no problem. Thanks for diversifying our conversation. So anyways, the LSAT, and then you have family income. So as I said before, that is just there, boom, and then 0.03. Not much of a correlation. The perfect correlation is 1. Right when you see a 0.03, you know it's not a strong correlation. So according to this data, there really is no strong correlation between LSAT and family income, right? And we're going to learn how to do this with gender, salaries, gender dying on the Titanic, gender, and a lot of other things, right? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you I have a good data set on race and whether or not you're more likely or less likely to be held longer in jail once you get arrested. And I obviously don't have to tell you where that's going, but we're going to do it, not tonight, but do it. This is just the basics so you're able to do it. So there you have the core function. That's just correlation. So if you were trying to make the argument that law schools were discriminating against poor people, this data does not suggest that because the correlation is so low, right? However, let's say, for example, you want to do a real more sophisticated model where we use what we call LM, the linear model. So you basically are going to call it something. What's this? Okay, we'll call it law school since you all love law school so much, except a few. And then you just do the LM function. And does anyone remember what variable comes first, the dependent or independent variable? Who remembers? Nobody? You can guess. There's only 2, so you got a 50-50 chance.
Is it dependent?
Right. Good memory for some of you there. So we got family income is the independent. So we want to go boop. Where is my little thing? LSAT. So that's the name of it. Now, R has this 3 things. See, LSAT. So then you put the little tilde. There is no name to this data set, so you don't have to do anything. So here you go. That's it. And then we do a summary, right? And you go like this. Boom, boom. And then you go law school. Look at that. See, there's a party in law school. See, that indicates that's it. And then we get the whole entire thing. So as you can see, the results are very, very bad as far. The estimate is the slope, which is basically the average movement of the dependent variable, that's LSAT, for every point of family income, which is very low. When you see that E, that is the scientific notation, meaning it's so low, it's basically 5004749, I believe. To get it out, you can basically do this. Watch this, copy. You can format it out. Oops. All right, and then just do scientific false. I put it in there. Everything has commas. When anytime you use a function in R, the parentheses, you have to be captured by the parentheses. And then there's always, when there's something else, scientific. Oops, this mic is scientific. You know, I'm a terrible speller. Don't tell anyone. Is that how you spell it? Right. So there it is, 0004749. That is because there's, I thought it was 5, but it's saying 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, 5. Okay. So you've got it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it starts at the 4. So that's the amount of movement, which is very low. The T value is very low. That gives us our P value. And the P value, that's a little difficult for people to understand. For the point here now in the class, it's based on the idea that the null is true. So getting a lower p-value is essentially saying that you need the independent variable to have movement in the dependent variable. And because it's so high, almost 1, it's got to be under 0.05 to be significant. It's not significant. And also R is kind of cool, or R studio, because it'll have a number of stars next to it. And the multiple R squared is the other correlation squared, which is very low, 0.001342. The perfect is almost 1 for this. So look at how far away. So the R squared here is telling you how well is the independent variable explaining the dependent variable. So you'd want that, although you're not supposed to say want, but if your model is correct, that's going to be closer to 1. It's not even close to 1. So these are all what we call statistical measurements. So here we're telling a story. That's what statistics is doing. And when you do law, like you at the beginning of this class, I did interpretive methods. That's very important for you people who want to study law, or even diplomacy, because your basic goal is to tell a story and socially construct the world in how you want it to go, right? So in this case, if you were wanting it to go in the direction that family income predicts LSAT scores, therefore university law programs are discriminating against poverty, that story is not going in your direction according to the statistics. According to this statistic, it's basically saying there's very little movement of the LSAT score based on family income. There is no correlation. And you see it on a number of what we would call these estimates, these statistical results. So the number 1 here, right next to family income, which is the independent variable, is saying the LSAT score is moving up because there's no minus there, only 0.00004749, with every unit of income. That is so low. The other thing, we won't talk about standard error yet, but the t-value is very low, which is indicating very low movement on the standard deviation and mean. And then the p-value, that's going to be the most important. Anything under 0.05 is significant, and this isn't even close to 0.05. So it's so high, it's not significant. Anything under 0.05 is significant. And then you've got the multiple R square, where you're essentially saying, how much is my independent variable or my model explaining the results, and it's not at all. It's very, very low. That's why you get the R squared as a negative, but that's not important now. So what you'll have to do on the quiz, I'll ask you this question, right? Okay, this is family income, right? You have to copy and paste it. I'll keep these in the quiz. I will keep the commas in the right place, and then you can name it whatever you want. And then I'll say, okay, here's the LSAT scores. Obviously, there'll be different numbers. And you basically have to do this. And I'll ask, oh, is this significant? And in this case, no, because the p-value is higher than 0.05. Is there a lot of movement in the slope? No, it's very low points. You won't have to do the format, but the answers will be there. It'll be multiple choice like the other ones. And then what is the R squared? So you will have to run it on your own. That's the goal of the class. Is that you learn a little about coding, even if you're going into law school, even if you're going into any school. So you could literally do look at this as family income, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could do something like gender, income, and those are the income, boop, boop. And let's say you find a data set somewhere and there's 6 and you see male. Now notice for this, and this will be for later, but you have to put quotes in the nominal variables. If you remember, nominal variables are like religion, gender, anything that you can't really use as a numerical value. So, football team, anything like that. Race, right? We're going to do some stuff on that. But look at it. You just go male. Let's see. Male again. Right? Boo, boo, boo. And then you do. I'm trying to see if I can make a correlation. I don't know. You're not supposed to do that. It's illegal if you're doing medicine or anything like that. But male, female, male and female. Is that 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then female. Now, look at that. I can just make gender income, male, male, female, male, female, female. You hit it, and then now I created the vector so you can do different things with that and relate it to the income. So take a look, boom, boom, right there, I got it. But anytime you're using nominal variables, you have to do this. So you literally could go in and take everyone in this class and do male, female, and do their income, where they live or anything like that, and then create what we call a data set, though we're not doing that right now. I just wanted you to understand that we can make data sets. This is called a vector with nominal variable like gender. And then you could run a lot of different statistics on it that could help with court cases and understanding the world. You can do democracy, although democracy is a little sketchy because it's usually governments and they have an agenda. Okay, questions on what I just did? Any question? There's no such thing as a dumb question.
I have a question on how to delete a value set.
Yeah.
Like, you know how like there's family and now we just made general family.
Right, gender.
Gender income.
Right.
Is there a way to delete one of them if we actually inputted one?
Oh yeah, you can just redo it. It doesn't matter. Like for example, let's say you did this and oh man, I have actually another one to put. Watch. I meant to put another male, right? Okay, boom, it'll just replace it. So if you do gender income, watch. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So then you have 7. You can just go back and redo it with the same name and it'll.
Oh no,
do it.
can we like delete one altogether?
You can. I've never did. It's easy. I'll have to figure it out. I forget now. It's not a delete. It's a omit, I believe. And then you can omit it. I forget though. I don't want to do it because it might screw it up. But there is a function, a very basic function. I just forget because I never do it. But yeah, you can definitely do it. I just don't remember the function for it. But yeah, you can definitely omit it. But are there any questions about the results? It's okay not to understand things because this isn't like, oh, I woke up and all of a sudden I'm a statistician so I can understand everything.
I ran this. I do have one more question. This
Yeah,
is
go
Alex
ahead.
still.
Yeah, go ahead.
I ran the same thing you're running, word by word, I'm hoping. But I got different numbers. I don't know if I did something wrong.
But were you able to get this?
Correlation. Yeah, that's what I got, but
That's good.
the numbers are not consistent with yours.
All right, I'd have to take a look. I'll have to let people share this. But look at the LSAT, 120, 190, 130, 124, and then you have family income. So I would look directly at the numbers and you can send your code in the chat as well, and then we can take a look. And that's good. You got it. Good, Alex. I mean, that's the first step. I mean, that's good that you were able to, get some results. So that's one of the goals as well. LSAT 120, 130, and then 3. That's the same thing. Let me see. And then you called it something else because how did you do it? Did you use the LM function or well, what about when you do correlation? Like this core. Is it getting 0.036? I'm trying to see if the numbers are the same. Oh, you put 10300, 11, 1, 2, 3, 7, 5, 3,000. Yeah, that looks the same. Let's take a look at your LSAT is the same. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I don't know if it's the function you're using, but this is the core. You should get that. Anyone else have any problems with that? Core. LSATs, family income, negative. Yeah, you got, let me see. Boo, 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 boo. Let me see. LSAT, family income. Let me see. That's kind of different. Let me take a look. What did I get on that? So I got LSAT family income as the same. I wonder why you're getting a different result. Huh. Let me see. I've
That's
never
why I
had
was asking about deleting the, sorry, not deleting the other term that you used to take off the other values. I was assuming that could be a possibility. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. Did you do something else? Like, did you have another family income in there or anything else?
I just have an extra family income of the same exact digits, but I just have family and one with family income. But
No,
they're
it should
both the
be
same digit.
family income then. I would try to just retype it and actually I can send out mine. Oh, that's what makes this kind of cool. Try to do it like this here. I can send it out to obviously everyone. I will first send it out here. Boo, boo, boo. And then let me send out the LSAT. I should have done that anyways. So you people are on the right page. So that's good out that you mentioned. That is exactly what I have. So if you put in that family income and you run it like that, and then the other LSAT, I would think you would get the same thing unless my family income, mine is different. Did anyone get the same thing as Alec? Let me take a look at my family income. Family income. It should be those numbers there. Yeah, it's those numbers. And then in order to see you get the right thing, it's LSAT. But that in a nutshell is what you're going to do in the test. And also you're going to have to do, which I asked you to get, the inequality package. So this is a good opportunity to learn they have inequality. Now, where are our diplomats and United Nations and everything else? All right. Have you studied the Gini coefficient? Who is going to tell me about the Gini coefficient? Nobody? The Gini coefficient, excuse me, if you study the United Nations loves talking about the Gini coefficient, is essentially the measurement of inequality. Right. Now, does inequality matter to a certain degree? I mean, you don't want a country where everyone's poor, because then everyone's the same. But they do get obsessed with this idea of a Gini coefficient. It basically measures the spread of the data, like a standard deviation. You don't want, a country to have such a ton of have-nots and such a ton of haves. Why? Why would that be kind of a problem? Anyone? Anyone? Are you still there? You gonna listen to me this whole time?
Different subject, but it's not running when I put enter.
That's weird. I'm gonna go back to you, and you're gonna let us share our screen, and then people don't have to stay or whatever. But we're gonna get it.
I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to apologize. It's tough stuff. I mean, doing this stuff. The Gini coefficient is basically the inequality, and you don't want haves and have-nots because then it creates instability. So if you do library inequality, right, you're supposed to have downloaded, you install packages like this. Ready? Install packages, and then you put the inequality and you do this. So you'll have to do this for the exam, right? So inequality, but I already have it, but in case you haven't, you get this. All right. So now, since I have it in the library already, you just go to Gini coefficient, family income. I want to know if there's a big gap between those. Boom. Right? 3.4. So not too bad. And then you can do what we call plot the Lorenz curve. Boom. C, capital LC. Boom. And what is it? Family income. And that will show you your first graph ever in our studio, and there it is. Boom. So there is some inequality in that data set, not too bad. But here is the Lorenz curve, as you can all see, and this is basically what you have to do for the exam. You won't have to make the Lorenz curve, but you'll have to know the Gini coefficient, you have to know correlation, and then you'll basically need to know how to interpret those results. So those are the questions I'm gonna get. If you having a problem when you say enter, I put it in like this. You just go boom, paste, and then make sure you can move the cursor. See, sometimes you can't. You got to hit it back there like that, and then it'll work. So make sure you hit the button. Make sure the cursor is working. See, it should be moving, and then you can basically do it. So that is in a nutshell what you will be doing. So I'll tailor some of these more towards law school, the questions and how it would be useful in law school other than the family income. Of course, good question, Katie. What do you want to do? All right, I got another one here in my thing. Let me take a look. Income and monthly spending. Here's another one with income. I'll send it out to you, people. Here, let me, after I make it. Okay, what do we do? Okay, let's call it something else. I'll call it dinero. All right, dinero. Do you know that's money in Spanish? I bet you didn't know that. All right, see. And then I go this. This is a little bigger. Okay. Dinero, that's money. Because you don't want to keep on calling it income. Ari sometimes gets confused. That's why. So let me send that out. Now you will have to call it something and do the C yourself in the actual exam. So you go out here, boom, you've got dinero. I send it out to you. And there you go. Then I have another one called monthly spending. Right? So let's call this monthly spending. So let's just say spending. Spending. Right? Oh, and this is going to be important because guess what happens while we're in class? It's an election year. Did you people know that? All right. We're going to do some voting stuff. It's going to be fun. Real voting stuff. We're going to be like, who would be more likely to vote for Carrie Lake, men or women, right? Or the other one, Hobbs, Thomas Hobbs there. Or who would, who would be more likely, you know, race, gender, income. We're going to run this stuff. It's going to be really, really cool. But that when we get to chi-square, that gets a little more complicated, but you're going to have to do it. So this is monthly spending. Monthly spending. Let's take a look. What did I call it? Let's take a look. Boom, boom. Monthly spending. All right. So I'm going to get rid of that. Do it. And now watch this. See, make sure your parentheses are closed. That's one of the things. Now let's do it. Boom. And then how do I know it's there? Just write the first. Yep, there it is. MSC. Now, make sure if you are following along, all four of you, which I appreciate you being here, is basically the idea that now we have monthly spending and income, and we want to see if income is related to monthly spending. So we just created two things. So it's the same thing with the LM function. What do we call this? One class wanted to call, the Queen. Yes, because she died, you know. The Queen of England passed away. So we'll call it the Queen. She had a lot of money. So I'm sure she had a lot of monthly spending. So here we go. Boom. What's the independent and what's the dependent variable? Who's going to tell me? Anyone going to help? Please? In the chat? I can stay here all day. They pay me the same. Independent, dependent variable. What is it? You got a 50-50 chance. Monthly spending and income. Dinero.
Independent.
Which one is which?
Dependent is the one that we did first. The independent, the one that we did second.
Well, dependent variable spending. So we're seeing if this dinero people have is affecting our monthly spending. So boom. All right. And then you see dinero. Now, there is no data set here. So that's what we're looking at. So economists, people, for all these people want to know. So you go like that. Same thing, summary. And then we look at the Queen. The Queen is having a party in heaven or hell. I don't know where she is. All right. So we see, wow, this is significant right there because we look at the PR. This is where the P value is 0.029. Not very significant, but somewhat significant. So let's take a look. And the data kind of lines up. For every dinero, unit of dinero, let's say dollars or pesos or Colombian pesos or lempera or the what's the Nicaraguan again? What is it again? Cordoba. So for every unit you're looking at, no matter what, you know, depends on what we are, you're getting a 0.3708 more on monthly spending for every income you're getting. So the monthly spending is going up with dinero. You've got a pretty good, not a bad standard of T value, which is 2.738. See, it's a lot better than this model over here. Look at how bad it is, very low and a very high P value. So you juxtapose this, and then you've got a P value less than 0.05. So you're saying that this is not happening by chance. It's happening attributable to the amount of dinero you're making. So then you look at the multiple R squared. 0.517 isn't bad. It's not good. That's why you don't have the best P value, but it's still under 0.05. So you could say that this is significant. And, you know, your original standard error, not too bad on 7 degrees of freedom. Degrees of freedom is the amount of data points you have minus the variables. So look at how many variables we have. Remember, these will match up 9,000, 4,000, 10,000, etc. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 minus a dependent and independent variable. That's 2. You've got 7 degrees of freedom. Oh, I'll put that on the. So you basically have the idea that there is some movement. Now, what do? I always like to do things like I did with the Lorenz curve. And this is very important if you're going to be a lawyer or anything. One of the good things about R is that you have these awesome packages. This is my this is my history here in case you want to see it over here on this side. You basically are getting things. All right. Now I sent the dinero. Did I? Yeah, monthly spending. Good. I want to make sure I said. Oh wait, did I send that to everyone? Let me see something. Yeah, everyone. Good. So you basically want, let's say you're a lawyer, let's say you're working for the United Nations, let's say you're working for anything. That's why Colin Powell, which I'm sure you all remember, before the Iraq war, went with all these big charts, you know, to show the weapons of mass destructions, which completely failed. But visual data is something people can understand. If you're going to be a lawyer, having visual data is important. So this could be anything, right? This could be gender and income. This could be, you know, people with radiation. Rats with radiation are dying more. So these people passed away because they were living near these high tension wires, which we'll do with the mice. But you basically want to say, okay, for ggplot, right? You do the ggplot. This is all pluses. There's nothing in there because there's no code, but aesthetics is looking at the variables. So you look at X equals, what's the independent variable? Dinero, right? That's the independent variable, how much money you're making. Y equals, what is Y equals? The monthly spending. Boom, right? And then plus, we're going to do GM point because GM point will just have points. And what's your favorite color? What's your favorite color? People don't have colors? Color, any color.
Pink.
Blue.
Blue. All right. How about this? We'll do blue for this. Oops. And then we do stat smooth, which will give us the best fitting line through it, right? Stat smooth. Here it is. Now I'm going to go over this again. And it's the method called equals LM, right? But there's always a comma when you put anything else in it. So we're going to put a color here. We'll put color equals pink. I like pink too. All right. So what am I doing here? This is ggplot, right? This is, you have to get it out of install it like I showed you in the thing, and then get it out of the library. I'm using Plotly. So to install it, you would say, you know, install, not installed, install, right? Plotly. With entre comillas, that's the what do you call those things? Bunny ears there, quotes. And then you have to get it out of the library. So those are 2 steps you'd have to do to get Plotly out. And that's part of ggplot, an extension of ggplot. So here we do ggplot. There's no name for this data set, so we leave it blank. That's aesthetics plus aesthetics. X is the independent variable. Y is always the dependent variable. Right, we're going to see how it pans out. Plus GM point. These are points. You're going to see those 9 points up there. Someone like the color blue. Very nice. Plus stat smooth. That's the line, right? That will be color pink. So what we're going to see over here. Yay. Look, it went through. that this is what we got. So that's pretty cool. Look at it, it's going right through. Now, let's say, for example, you were doing something else, right? Let's say, for example, you were doing what could be something more of law and justice. You could be saying people who lived in a certain neighborhood were contracting diseases because the water was like what was going on in Michigan. People were getting sick from the water. Unfortunately, they were dying. So the more exposure to the water, the more people were getting sick, right? Let's say cancer, unfortunately, is a sad thing, but so the more exposure were leading to sickness, and you were a lawyer, and then you can show this. And then we can do it with Plotly, GG Plotly, which makes it interactive, which was a question, right? GG Plotly, right? Just the 3 thing, and then it'll be up there right there. But you got to close it in between the parentheses. Boom, 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 boom. Now it's interactive, and that makes it, wow, you're really smart. See, that's why I like doing statistics. I'm not smart, but I look smart. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom. Ooh, look at that. It looks nice too. People like charts. That's an outlier up there, but it's still pushing it up. So it is going up to a certain degree so the more dinero you're making, that's the X down here, 20,000, 40,000, etc. Right? The more monthly spending you're having. So why is that important? Well, this is what people are talking about with inflation right now. Right? The more people were spending, the more people were making for money, the more they started spending. So with the checks and everything that was sent out, people had more money, they started spending, but that created higher prices. But we won't get into that now. But this is very interesting because you see it going up, up, up. Is it perfect? No, but it seems to be a correlation. And that's why we have the significance level. So I'll go over it. So we did the LM function with Queen, LM, monthly spending, then that little tia tilde there with dinero. That's the independent variable, the money you make, and monthly spending is the dependent variable, the result. Put the summary Queen, because that's what we call it. You can call it anything you like. And then you come down here. This is the slope, the practical value for every unit of dinero. We're getting a 0.37 movement, positive movement, as we can see up in the monthly spending. The standard of error is basically the idea that that's the variability you will have between 0.1355. So you want it lower, as low as possible. But that's the variability you're going to get if you do different samples of populations. And then the t-value, remember, the higher the better, because that will indicate these points are moving. And then you get a lower t-value. And that's a pretty good t-value, 0.029. It's not the best. That's why there's only 1 star opposed to 3. And it is significant. All right, good. I got a question. Can you copy and paste the G? Yeah, sure. That's a good idea. Thanks for saying that. I'll do both. See, you're on top of these things, Katie. All right. So that's GG Plat. Now, why is this interesting, even if you hate statistics and would rather not to be here? Well, if you're able to make these kind of cool visuals, even with or without statistics, I mean, just plugging it in, you could say to yourself, hey, that's pretty cool. You could do, let's say you're an honors student, right? And you want to show something visually. You can use this. It's really cool. And I'm going to show you how to do other graphs and stuff like that. This is just the beginning. So you're going to do it. And if you're able to do that, that's really good, because think about it. It's only, the first time you've done these statistics, it's a 303 class, and you're able to run something and you're able to get results. That's really good. So you should be happy if you're able to get our studio on your computer and able to do some of this stuff. That's really good. Oh, you got it? Good. Yeah, if you're able to make an interactive graph like that, that's like really good. People in data science, I don't know if they have a data science in West Campus. They do in Tempe, and I like the West Campus, very nice. But I live in Tempe. I'm based in Tempe. I live right near the university, right before the prices went through the roof, and unfortunately, it's horrible. But I was lucky enough to get a house before, and I live right near the Tempe campus. And Tempe campus, as you know, is huge, and that has data science. And I was telling them I was teaching the students Plotly, and they were like very impressed. So it's an interactive graph. So, and then you can make it bigger by going Zoom. Watch. I'll have to share it. Let me see. Let's, yep, share. Boop, boop, boop. Resume share, new share. And that's going to be this. Yeah.
Can you also please type what we need to do for the graph to even work, or what to install?
Yeah. Let me see. What you need now, just really do it right here. You guys like this plot though? It's cool. It's interactive. Ooh, see, interactive means you can see it going up the pink, and you can have any color you want. So let's just say you're an honest student, or you're in a legal situation and you need to build a graph to show people that, oh, the increase of housing is increasing homelessness. So you see this from certain years, the increase of housing in Arizona is increasing the amount of homelessness. Let's say, see, this is very important to understand. So these are really important questions. The stories you're telling are actually important. It's not just to do it. And well, you basically are, just doing it just to get a grade. There's actually utilitarian value. So let me go back and share my RStudio. All right. So, and then I can do it. Now, remember, this is Plotly. So this is what you do. Install, look at this. You don't want install, you want install packages. Now, parentheses, and you do Plotly, right? So you do that. These are packages. Packages in R are essentially different things. They can be anything. They could be different algorithms with the LM function. They can have data sets. They can do, this is a package that deals with building cool graphs. So you first have to do that. And it's the same thing with the inequality package. You do, the thing about R is people get frustrated, but once you learn the logic and you kind of understand, okay, install packages. Before I've ever put a package on my R, I have to put, in quotes, Plotly. And then after I've already got it, so I'll get rid of it. And then Plotly here, boom, boom. And then the code I already sent. So there you go. And then library Plotly. Anytime you open your RStudio, you just open R, not RStudio. So you go to the computer, RStudio, it opens, and then you have that. So that is how you do it. You have 2 steps once you open it up. But once you've installed it, you don't have to install it again. But you always have to get it out of the library once you open up. Okay, looks like I'm losing them. We only have 4 people left, four victims left. So, but I do appreciate you being here. That's good. You ever want a recommendation, you say, hey, don't you remember me? I always went to your Zoom meetings. All right. Any questions or comments? You think you could swing this on an exam?
I don't feel confident yet.
Alec, you're going to practice. I'm going to send out some practice. Well, and the quizzes are practice because you don't want me. People always say, oh, why don't we do more practices? But the quizzes, the more quizzes, the better, because the more points over 100. Remember, watch that video of me with the head, right? It's a big head. And
can
behind
the
me.
quiz be 1 point?
No, you want the quiz as many points as you can get.
No. So what I was thinking, just quiz 1 point, but there's multiple questions, so the rest could be bonuses.
But everything's a bonus. Like every time there's a quiz, you want anything over 100 points. So right now in the class, there's 100 points. So if I put extra questions on the quiz and do a quiz every week, everything is good. So you want as many points as possible. So those are bonuses, if you think about it. Everything's a bonus. The thing is that because it'll go beyond 100 points. So if there's 115 points, that's 15 points you have to play around with. So like, let's say you didn't do well on the last quiz. Oh, it doesn't matter because you can still get an A+. Let's say you didn't do well on this or that. I mean, there are finite. So you want to do as much as you can. But you're going to do it. Can we do one more for practice? Is that Katie again? Oh, did you say that before? Because we just did it.
Dr. Ripley, I have a question.
Yes, student Nabil.
So for the quiz, is it going to be like running R, or are the questions are just going to be like the technical questions, like how would you do like a ggplot, or
Right.
like how is the quiz going to be?
Like the ones we've been doing. No, now you're going to have to start running it. That's why I'm having this. That's why I'm surprised there's only 4 students here. Just for survival reasons, I thought there'd be more. You're going to have to start running it. And that's where we go. But don't worry, there's a lot of extra points. So if you like get a 0 on the quiz, it doesn't matter. There'll be another quiz and another. One of the good things about this class is usually I do a quiz every week and they're 6-week online. This is the whole semester. So you're going to have a ton of extra points because we have a quiz every weekend. So yeah, you're going to have to start running it.
You'd show like, okay, this is how would you like, what would you get if you were to do like what we're doing right now, right? So like, what would you get if you did this or what is the p-value of this?
Exactly. That's it.
Okay.
So like, I'll say this. Let's say okay, let me write in the script here. Let me see. See, this is the Untitled script. You people know this stuff because I was doing it. Let's say, for example, I say something like, oh, that was a good question about the homeless. It's sad, but okay, let's just say we have 10 years of house prices, right? And then we have this. So, okay, these liberal do-gooders, and this is important, we want to study the housing, right? Right. Studying housing crisis, right? And homelessness, which is very sad, very lamentable subject because the housing is through the roof. I don't know how you kids are doing it. I mean, are you living with your parents? See, I would live with my parents. I would. It's very expensive out there. Rent's expensive. Good for you. Thank you, Katie. Rent is very expensive, right? And there's a lot of people that don't have the luck to live with a certain people, whatever, have formal education, and there's a big eviction rate. So let's say we want to do numbers, right? So let's say we're studying the housing crisis, and I give you these numbers, right? This is the average rent, right? Average rent is, let's say, for example, I'm just going to arbitrarily say some numbers, just 6, 1,200 in the first year, then it's like 1,500, right? Oops, I said 12,000. Oh my God. I hope it's not that. Is it that high already? 12,000 a month, 1,200. I'm just arbitrarily thinking 50 to answer your question in a way that all the students will be able to see this. And they'll know. So 1,200, 1,500, 1,600, and then 1,850. And then one more went all the way up to 1,900, right? That is basically the average rent. So I say that. And then I say the amount of people collecting the data of homelessness is, say, on the streets, they're finding, say, for example, an average year, they're finding, let's say, 80 people. Then, and I mean, obviously these are not real numbers, but then they're finding 100, but then one year was lower, 90, but then it went up to 120, and then it went up to, 200, and then it went up, how many points? We got one more point because they have to match, a whopping 700, right? So look at this. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I gotta make sure it's up there. So let's just negate 2,000 because they have to match, right? You have to have, these will match this. So this first one will match this one. This will match that one, etc. So I will ask that question. So what do you have to do? Well, you as the student, my good students, will have to copy and paste it. You'll have to go and I'll for the first quizzes, I'll make sure I put the comma in the right place. So it'll be fine. So average rent. Okay, I get it. I copy it. I put it in my RR studio like this, paste it, right? Boom. This could be a good question too. So pay attention. Average. It's a sad thing. I mean, I'm very, it's a very sad thing for a lot of people. I guess I'm a liberal do-gooder. And okay, there you go. So you've got your average rent. Boom. All right, we did it. Let's see if it came up. Yep, average rent. So there it is. Now we do the homeless, right? The homeless thing, right? Boom, copy paste. It's going to be a little more wordy than this, right? It'll be something like researchers want to study the housing crisis as their relationship with the increase of rent and homelessness that we have found. And then boom, homelessness and boom, boom. Yeah. Boom. So that's 3 and 3. There's 6 data points. Okay, let's see. Average rent. Oops, my mistake. Let's do just a correlation. Right? Average rent, comma, right? And then we do the homelessness. Oops. Right, like that. And boom. Wow, 6.3. So there seems to be a correlation. Then what's the LM, right? What are we going to call it? Oh, King Charles is the new, that's my name. I'm Charles Gerard Ripley III. Should I be a king? Because this guy, King Charles, is the third and I'm the third. All right. So LM, we call it the king because the last one was the queen. The independent variable and the dependent variable. In this case, the dependent variable is the homelessness, right? And we see boom, and then Tia tilde right there because we're regressing the average rent on that. Does the average rent cause homelessness? Boom, and then summary. Ooh, there you go. You want the regular summary. And what did I call it? The King Charles. He wasn't very nice to Princess Diana. I don't know. All right. Then you've got it. Look at, it's not coming up significant, although it was a big thing. So there you go. But the multiple R squared is not that bad, but I see the average rent. For every point of average rent, you get a 0.5 in homelessness. I wonder why that is like that. But there's only 4 degrees of freedom because of that. So it's not statistically significant. But just because something's not statistically significant doesn't mean there isn't a little bump up there. So that's what I did with the ice cream thing. But in a nutshell, that's what you will have to do. Do you understand?
I do. Thank you. Would you mind just scrolling just a little bit up?
Yeah, watch this. Oh, I got rid of it all. There you go. Can you see?
Thank you. Yes.
So your thing with this, I'll just outline what your responsibilities are, is that you can paste what here? What does she want here? You basically have to make the vector, but the commas will be in the right place because I'm not going to confuse you on the first quizzes. And then you'll have to call it whatever you want. Homelessness, average rent. Then you'll get it. That's a good correlation. I wonder why it's not thing. That's a problem with small data sets. We'll get into that later. When we do the real big ones, you'll see. And then you'll have to do a summary. King. You can call it whatever you want.
Professor,
Yes.
is it possible to kind of either send it pretty much on the chart under summary to
Right.
kind of identify which is which, because I feel like I keep forgetting which number represent what.
Right. You'd have to really just name it. So when you see under, this here, you mean?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, that's good. That it's memory. You got to kind of study that. Yeah, I think that I'd watch the videos and rewatch this too, because my voice is so beautiful. I'm sure you people want to outside of the classroom. I say that to all my students over there. So you basically have the first one. It's just your slope. And that is basically, and I didn't do that video on slope. I have to, basically telling you how much is your data moving. Right. This is saying for every average rent, you're getting a 0.5 more percentage in homelessness. Then the standard of error is basically your variability in data. Think of it like samples. Like let's say, for example, they have a sample and they say there's a standard of error of, 0.35. Where if we do other samples, it'll be within this range. I'm a little incredulous about that because, they'll do that all the time. Like, this is like 400 people in Ohio. Well, Ohio's a big state. If you're going to do Ohio, the idea that the sample is a small margin of error is ridiculous. So the standard of error, even though it matters for the algorithm, I don't focus as much on. But the t-value is important because that's telling you the movement of your data. So in the last case, you saw a pretty good movement over here. I'm back over with with dinero and spending. And then the p-value is going to be the most significant because it tells you the significance. What do you think of that? That's pretty clever to say. So you've got 0.172. It's not significant. Anything under 0.05 is significant. And that's against the null. You're basically saying the lower it is, the better for the model, because you're essentially saying that you need the independent variable for movement in the model. This is saying it's not got that much movement, even though there is somewhat of a correlation, as we saw 6.3. It's saying, according to this algorithm, an algorithm is the math behind it. It's kind of like a recipe telling us that it's not statistically significant. The multiple R squared isn't that great, but remember, a 0.05, that's a low threshold. So it's basically high threshold, but it's low in the sense that it's difficult to get. So they want to make it as difficult as possible.
Dr. Ripley, I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last number, the one that you just highlighted. What is that one? Sorry.
No, never apologize. This is your class. You pay money. So you want to understand that that's the p-value. And it doesn't say p-value. Ours is a little tricky with this. It doesn't say p-value. It says PR, and because is it minus the t, etc. Don't worry about that completely. But if that's under 0.05, statistically speaking, it's significant. So that's essentially saying that this is happening. The relationship, not at all when the null is true. You need the independent variable for this relationship to happen. This is saying a 0.172 isn't like bad, but it's still not statistically significant. So if you just moved up to ggplot, you could see, all you got to do is put the arrow up. That's a good question. You're asking good questions. And you do X equals what's the independent variable here? Average rent, my mistake, and then homelessness. So it'll be the same. Let's do different colors. What do we like? I like turquoise, but I can't spell it. So green, and what else do we like? Purple. Ooh, people don't like purple. All right. So you see, it's going up, but these outliers, it's not as good as the other one. So it is going up. See, there is movement in this, but I think because of the outliers, I wonder if I ran RLM on this. That we are not into yet, but it is going up, but not as much as the last one. So it's basically saying there is movement here, but it's not quote unquote statistically significant. But that doesn't mean it's not practical significant. Sorry, go ahead, Neville. Sorry for pronouncing your name.
I feel like I'm asking so many questions.
No, this is a lot of people probably who are going to watch this have the same question. So you're doing well. You're helping the other students.
So anything under 0.5 is not significant?
Is significant. Under 0.05 is significant. Sorry if I didn't communicate that. Well, 0.05 is indicating, right, that the chances of having this relationship, if the null is true, meaning there's no relationship, it's very low. So the lower it is, the more the algorithm is saying that it's not by chance. It's because of the independent variable. But see,
would you mind showing us one where the p-value is significant?
Yeah, I did that up here, but I can do the C data set. And then if people have to go, they're welcome to go. This is significant, the one with the dinero.
Oh, I see it. Sorry. Yeah.
No, that's fine. So this is going up a little better, although the other one looks good, but the numbers are better because the dinero and the, monthly spending. If you really want to see something, let me get my files here. I can do the sea ice really quick. How many people here think global warming's a scam? All right. Any Alex Jones? Doesn't he always say it's a scam? Well, this is sea ice. This is a real data set. Let me show you a real data set. It'll take like 3 minutes. So once you get the hang of it, it takes. So I'm importing this thing and I can send it out and stuff like that. So this is sea ice, right? Now, anytime you get a thing, you have to attach it. So I attach it, boom, and then I do sea ice. Now, and I can actually send this to you people. Let me see. Boom, boom. Now, let me, in case you want to do it, there you are, 303. Takes about 20 seconds. I'm going to, boom. All right. I'm going to send it out through the announcement and it'll go to your thing, Sea Ice. And then you download, if I do send this to practice, let me take a look here. Yeah. My Apple is slow. It's very old. I stole it from the university. Don't tell anyone. All right. Let me see. Where's my Sea Ice? Ice. A, B, C, D, E. Let's see. Ah, here it is. Yay. Okay, you guys and girls are gonna get Sea Ice sent to you. This is a real data set. So if you've got that alt-right uncle and he always tells you it's a scam with what do you call it? The global warming. This is saying year. This is the extent of sea ice. This is the area of sea ice, right? We want to see whether now the year itself isn't the cause, but we use it as the independent variable, meaning is the year related to the extent of ice, either decreasing or increasing. So it's very easy. So let's make sure we got it. We got it attached. See, you view it, you see it viewed by uploading it, then you attach it, right? And then we're going to see if there's a thing. So we can call it anything. What do we call it? Polar bear. Yay, polar bear. All right, polar bear. LM, that's linear model, like you've seen in the videos. The independent variable is the year, and the dependent is extent. Extent and area. Area, I think, is the surface, and extent is the I don't know. Someone explained it to me once. I'm not a scientist, but I play one here. So, anyways, is there a correlation between ice, the extent of ice, sea ice, increasing or decreasing with every year? So you just do extent, right? It comes up, see down here, and then Tia tilde, right? And then you do year. And then you get a comma. This is the data equals sea ice. Where are we? Ba-boom. All right. Now we do the summary like we just said. Base. Now polar bear. Look at that down there. Boom. All right. What's the results? Wow. That's a really low p-value, meaning it's significant, meaning that there is a statistical relationship according to this algorithm with this. And notice this is negative and this is negative, showing you that it's not a positive relationship. It is what relationship? What's the opposite of positive?
Negative relationship.
All right. So there you go. So if you have an alt-right uncle and they're telling you global, the global warming isn't happening, you could say, well, look at this is the data. And they'll say, well, some commie professor gave you that at the university. So, which is true, right? Look at the multiplier square is close to 1. That's very strong. Look at the estimate is saying for every year, we're getting a lower extent of sea ice by 0.08. That's significant. The t-value is high at, notice it's 10.02. The others were like 3 point something or 0.03 if it wasn't. So this is significant. This is like 0.00000000797. That's why it's called the scientific format. So if you were going to ggplot this, I'll just go up with my little ggplot, right? Look at that. The average will just change. X is the year, right? And then Y is the extent, and you can do area, right?
What was pressed to attached? I've been trying to attach it, but it comes out not looking the same.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to help you with that. That's gonna and look at it. It's going down. It's an interactive ggplot, and it's going down significantly, meaning ice is melting. The problem might be when you go to files, right? Make sure it's in documents and it's an CSV file, and then you go like this and then import it like that. And there are other ways to do it as well. If you have an Apple, there might be some issues that we can get through. This will not be on the quiz, but if you still want to do it, you know, with the practice, we're going to have to figure it out. So when you download it from the announcement, you want to make sure it's a CSV file, not just an Excel file, and it's in documents, and then go here into documents and then upload it like that. Boom. So that's a good example of significance. That's very significant. And then you see it in the plot. You see it go, oh, that's monthly spending. What happened to my other one? Oh yeah, they always disappear. All right. And then you can change the colors around. Like what do you want the color to be? This will be green and purple. How about black? Oh, and you can make them bigger too. Watch this. Size equals, 5. Whoosh, that's pretty big. And then you can do different things. So anyways, that is it in a nutshell. So what were you able to do it, Alex?
No luck. Just yet. I'm still.
All right, I'm gonna have to send it out and then go step by step and make sure, and I can do a video on it. But if you do see the earlier videos, that's it. People with Apple sometimes have problem. They come up as different files, and I hope it's coming up. It should come up like this in RR Studio, and then I can kind of walk you through after. But I'll end the recording now. Any other questions that other students could benefit from?
No, not really, I don't think.
All right. Well, those are all excellent questions, and I'm glad you people came out, and I really appreciate it. And also, since so many people are interested in law, I'll send out some of that law school information tonight. So I'll end it here, the recording, so it's not going crazy. Stop.